Hello, my friends! Today we are going to learn some advanced riding techniques that not every rider can do. We're going to see how to reliably make full lock turns. If you've ever tried turning a bike with the handlebars fully locked, you've probably noticed that it's surprisingly difficult to pull off. The bike just feels unstable and ready to tip over for some reason. Why do full lock turns feel so awkward? How do we do them properly? And why must every self-respecting motorcycle rider master them? Let's find out. If this is your first time on this channel, my name is Andrei Bodrov. I'm your new favorite motorcycle instructor and the creator of the King of the Road course, which you absolutely want to check out if you'd like to drastically improve your riding skills and reduce your chances of getting into an accident on the road. Why are full lock turns so difficult for a lot of people? How are they so different from normal ones, to the point that at some riding schools students are explicitly recommended not to do them at all? I personally strongly disagree, since mastering full lock turns will first give you the ability to maneuver your bike in tight spaces, which is always handy, especially if you live in a city. And second, learning how to properly do full lock turns greatly enhances your balance on the bike to the point that you'd literally never drop it, regardless of how much it weighs or how high the center of gravity is. Instead of relying on counterbalancing and higher speed to avoid dropping the bike, like some instructors teach, you'll be able to make your slow riding actually, slow and safe. Again, this is especially important if you live in a city. You really don't want to zip around cars and pedestrians all the time. Sometimes you just have to do your maneuvers really slowly, so you must have this ability. So let's do it. Let's learn how to reliably make full lock turns at any speed, even almost at a standstill. We're going to do it in two parts. Some theory first, and then an exercise for practice. Full lock turning on a bike feels really challenging because of how a motorcycle stabilizes itself. On any bike, when it's moving forward, the front wheel constantly self-steers automatically, maintaining the balance of the bike. Depending on the speed of the bike and its lean angle, the front wheel turns itself more or less, and it all happens pretty much automatically. To prove it, here is a little experiment. Here I am obviously not doing anything with the steering, since I am not even touching the handlebars. And look how the front wheel turns itself to stabilize the bike. That's exactly why sometimes we can observe seemingly bizarre situations, when a motorcycle bucks a rider off and then proceeds to go without them. The front wheel automatically stabilizes the bike and prevents it from falling down. When we turn the handlebars completely to full lock, we instantly lose all this self-stabilization. The front wheel can't self-steer anymore, it is locked in place. This is exactly why the bike can feel very unstable and ready to tip over once the handlebars reach full lock. We can't rely on the bike's self-stabilization now, so we have to balance it manually. And we are going to use our clutch for this. I will show a slightly different technique for DCT bikes too, but the core principles will be the same, so even if you have an automatic bike, just keep watching, everything will be revealed in due time. So, how do we balance the bike when the handlebars are in full lock? It's pretty simple. First of all, we have to manually keep the handlebars locked. Don't let them straighten up, just keep them completely locked. Now, watch what happens if I keep the throttle slightly open and release the clutch slightly. Look, the bike instantly stands up. We're going to use this to our advantage. When we feel like the bike is about to tip over, we simply release the clutch a little and it stands up. And if it's too vertical for our taste, we do the opposite. We pull in the clutch a tiny bit and apply a little pressure on the rear brake. Then the bike starts to fall, and we catch it with the clutch again at a desired lean angle. By carefully operating the clutch and rear brake in this way, we can maintain a delicate balance so our bike stays in full lock. We can have the bike going really slow and vertical if we want, or a bit faster and leaning more. Now, what about automatic bikes with DCT? They don't have a manual clutch, so what do? The core principle stays the same. We need to carefully modulate our speed to keep the bike in balance. Only now we do it not with the clutch, but with the throttle and rear brake. We keep the handlebars fully locked and keep the throttle slightly open. To straighten the bike, we release the rear brake a little and the bike stands up. If we press the rear brake more, the bike will slow down and lean more, where we can catch it again by releasing the brake slightly. So, the basics are exactly the same, the only difference is that we use just the rear brake instead of the clutch and rear brake combination like on normal bike. Now, before we continue with our full lock riding exercise, I want to take a moment to mention our sponsor, Ultramax Cell, the high-tech base layers you can sometimes see me wearing while riding a bike. What makes Ultramax Cell stand out is its fabric, advanced polypropylene fiber with a unique three-dimensional structure. This creates a compression effect, ensuring a snug fit and optimal performance across your entire body. The real game changer is its 3D honeycomb structure, which increases surface area, allowing moisture to wick away from your skin and evaporate quickly. In hot weather, when worn under ventilated riding gear, this enhances evaporative cooling, keeping you cool. In cold conditions, the honeycomb design traps air around your body, improving insulation and keeping you warm. Compared to standard thermal clothing, Ultramax Cell is a significant upgrade. I can highly recommend it. I'll leave an Amazon link in the video description along with their direct contact information. For shipping reasons, depending on your location, you might get a much better deal by reaching out to them directly. Now, back to our full lock riding exercise. It is very simple and straightforward. We're just going to do circles with the handlebars in a full lock position. Here is a step-by-step guide. At first, just start riding in a circle at a slow but constant speed. Be in the first gear, keep the revs steady at 2, 2.5, maybe even 3 times the idle RPM. Turn your head and look into the turn really far. Pivot your chest so your shoulders are parallel to the handlebars and keep your elbows relaxed. Don't try to fight the handlebars just yet. Use the friction zone of the clutch. Don't pull it in all the way and don't let it completely out. Control it closely to the biting point, moving the lever very precisely, like this. As you can see, it moves very deliberately and in small increments. If needed, you can also use the rear brake, but make sure you apply very light pressure. Don't stomp on it, otherwise you can overheat your clutch pretty quickly. Now, slowly start losing speed. Pull in the clutch a little and apply a bit more rear brake, but don't forget to keep the throttle up, otherwise you can stall the engine and drop the bike, like in this example. As your bike gradually slows down, you'll feel the handlebars turning more and more, and at some point they hit the full lock. Usually, if you are just starting to practice this, it is a pretty scary moment, because the bike suddenly feels very unstable. But don't worry, just release the brake and the clutch, and the bike will instantly stand up. Repeat this several times until you get used to the moment when the handlebars hit full lock. And remember to keep the RPM up all the time. It is very important here. Once you feel comfortable hitting full lock occasionally, let's take it a step further. Now, when the handlebars go to full lock, manually keep them locked and don't let them go straight. Now do what we already discussed. Release the clutch and rear brake a little to straighten up the bike and pull in the clutch and apply the rear brake to let it lean more. From this moment, it's just a balancing act between your clutch and rear brake. At first, you may only manage a quarter or half of a circle in full lock, and that's normal. don't be discouraged if you can't balance it perfectly right away. Almost nobody gets it right on the first try. But as you practice more and feel the balance better and better, eventually you'll be able to ride in full lock indefinitely, as long as you want. The good thing is, now you will be able to do it at any speed. A bit faster, a bit slower, whatever your current road situation requires. You won't be dependent on centrifugal force or counterbalancing anymore, and you'll be able to balance any bike, regardless of its weight or center of mass. Good stuff! Once you master the full lock turns, I can guarantee you will be able to ride any bike at slow speed with complete confidence and control. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, maybe even share it with a friend who might also need it, and subscribe for more tips and riding advice. Also, be sure to check out our courses. They'll drastically enhance every aspect of your riding. With our courses, in just a couple of months, you won't even recognize yourself on the bike. As always, thank you for watching, ride safely and have a wonderful day. Bye!